Cheers, guys. I'm here with Kickers after that win, and I'm just going to start this off on Kickers. In that final fight, we saw you get that pick on Hyanan, and then you just instantly went for the game. How did that call come about?
Well, we're just trying to get a pick, and then we noticed that he's out of position. And the moment we have seen that he actually stepped forward, because we didn't have vision exactly on the mid lane, Yun instantly went for the pick, and at the moment we killed him, we were like, oh, okay, this game is won.
Okay, and also going back to some of the calls in the game, because we saw that you make that really good Baron call as well. What is the information that you need to be able to go for something like that and make it work?
I mean, it's like a lot of variables, depending if enemy has TP, what's their position, how fast is our Baron, what zoning tools do we have, like Bard ultimate, Gragas ultimate, and what enemies have to actually disrupt us, and if they have good jungler that can steal the Baron, actually Lee Sin is pretty good at this. So it's a lot of things that, with experience and out of games, especially competitive, just comes with experience that you're able to judge more or less if the Baron call is good.
Well, you guys have definitely built up that experience. And also talking about the top lane matchup with you, Rammus into Nasus is not a lane we really see every day. How was that for you in the top lane, and how did you shut it down?
I heard that the Nasus is supposed to counter pick the Rammus because Rammus cannot really bully the Nasus and Nasus can farm, but to be honest, Nasus is, as a champion, is not really good for competitive play because he just doesn't do much in team fights. He's just gonna run around, W8D1 that he's gonna QSS, and that's pretty much it. He's just gonna be pretty tanky. So we weren't too worried, even after he got ahead in the early game. He got some random kills, he got CS advantage because of our bad early game. But yeah, we weren't worried about the Nasus.
Yeah, and you also drew him into team fights where, as you said, couldn't do really much, and then you just shut him down with the Rammus, etc. Also talking about your team in general, you guys have definitely slowed down in the last couple of weeks compared to the start of the split, where it was just all on aggression for the first couple of minutes, and then you had these super bloody early games, but you started to slow down. So is that a conscious decision, or did that just happen with the meta? How did that come about?
It was a conscious decision because at the start, we noticed that we are really good at team fighting, getting catches and stuff, but we were too aggressive at times, and we really had to tone it down. So if we do it properly, do it with more brain, more precision, then it's actually going to be a lot better playstyle than just being like, wow, we can get some kills. Okay, sure, who cares about turrets, Yeah,
well, definitely a smarter game. Thank you very much for the interview, Kickers. We're going to send it now over to the analyst desk to look at that game.
Thank you very much, Pulse and Kikis, as we were joined by Steelback and Vizicachi to shine a light on that game. Obviously, they listened to our analysis when we said they were a tad too aggressive, Fisho.
I mean, League of Legends is about winning games where you don't have to fight. That's what the European teams are aiming for, some of them.
Yeah.
Unicorns, they do like to fight, though.
Yeah, you guys like to fight. Let's talk about this game. Obviously, Vizicachi, I have to go to you first to talk about that Nasus versus Rammus matchup and kind of Kikis touched on it. They drafted a composition with the Nasus in it, but they didn't end up playing the game, maybe, Vitality, that they wanted to with it. What do you think?
Yeah, Kikis briefly touched on it, that it's a fine matchup for Nasus because he can farm up freely. But I didn't feel like there was a purpose to the Nasus pick too much, because he's not too good for team fighting, and Vitality tried to force team fights all the time. So I felt like maybe a Trundle pick or something would have been better. And I think with Nasus, they should have gone for full-on split push, try to pressure the towers, and with their rest of the 4 members try to hold the towers, disengage, and that was kind of their win condition, I think.
Yeah. When we look at the beginning of the game, there's a replay we wanted to look at, especially because G2 came with a game plan in that bottom lane tower to set up a lot of plays. We'll get it up on the screen. Maybe Steelback and Fisho can guide us through this one.
We talked about it being some cheese coming out from Vitality. Steelback, what do you think about this play, and what do you think maybe is a downside for G2 in doing this in a lane swap, obviously?
Well, I think they wanted to do this play because they were late already. So G2 stood in the bush and waited the bot lane to come. But Vitality should ward this bush, because all the time when you lane swap, you should ward, because the enemy can do that. But it's very risky, because if you actually manage to fail it, I mean, they got only 1 kill.
Yeah.
But even if they get 2 kills, I feel it's not even that worth, because right now the Nasus is getting solo XP on the top side and free farm. So I don't think that's a very reliable play that you can make.
And they got punished because EpicSkillshot got pretty far ahead in this game on the Nasus, and it looked honestly good because like Vitality's comp wanted to play one split pusher in EpicSkillshot and then 4 men running together and just always disengaging. Problem is then they start getting picked off left and right, and that's why G2 got back in the game.
Yeah, Viscacha, I'd like to ask you something that Crepo was touching on, that it kind of is a waste that you pick a matchup like this, Nasus versus Rammus, which is when you know that you have EpicSkillshot who is able to play these high technical champions and maybe 1 versus 1 their opponent. What's your view on that?
Yeah, I feel like Fiora could have been better for him. It's like more fitting for his playstyle. And if they wanted to go with the split push route, then it's definitely a better option. Or like he likes to play the Graves too. I think one of those would have been probably better, but I think they just wanted to surprise their opponents and get an advantage with that too.
Yeah.
We have to talk Rammus though, because he's been in a lot of games today. We have a top laner here, and we have a person who probably hates Rammus quite a lot, an AD carry as well, Steelback. How annoying is it to play against Rammus, and what do you do as an AD carry to try and counter him or play against him?
Well, you just run away.
Right.
But it's the problem with Rammus versus AD is that it's very hard to itemize versus him because you need the Last Whisper, the Lord Dominic, and a lot of lifesteal. So the best build is to go the Last Whisper and double lifesteal, which take a lot of time to have. And Rammus has actually his Stormail when you have like 2 items. And you actually need to ignore him and try to go on the back line, which is really hard to do, but it's very hard to find counterplay early against Rammus as an ADC.
Late, it were some openings for Vitality. Let's take a look at the replay that actually got them back in the game and put them almost on match point, where Hjarnan does manage to stay alive. Steelback, can you talk us through Hjarnan's positioning in this one and how G2 want to engage? We can roll the clip.
Okay, so G2 tried to go on the Nasus, I think, and actually Lucian is doing a lot of damage. He 3-shot the Lee Sin pretty much, and Hjarnan is staying really close to Janna, which is really strong. From him, he has very good position right now. He stays in the ult and keep on kiting, but Lucian took some tower shots before, and now he's joining with like mid HP, which I don't think is that good, and now he E on him. I wouldn't recommend to do that because the Janna is next to him. But yeah, Hjarnan played that very good.
Yeah, and I think the big thing here was that LeBlanc died to the last tower shot of Azir. And if LeBlanc stayed alive, let's say, she could have probably cleaned up later on.
Finally, G2 takes the win in this one. 2 teams at the top of the tables. With this game in mind, who would you think is the stronger of the 2 now?
I think Vitality has a lot of different picks. They try to pull out new stuff all the time, which is really strong. I think their draft is stronger, but in-game-wise, I think G2 is stronger. Yeah.
I feel like G2's drafts are always solid, and they always go for similar team comps, but it's really solid and they play it out very aggressively. So right now I would say they are the better because they won this game. But, well, who knows? It can change anytime.
So you would rather play Vitality in the first quarterfinal in playoffs? Or would you rather play G2 even though you think maybe they're slightly better, but maybe you guys can counter?
Hard question. Right now I would say Vitality.
Yeah, I would say Vitality too.
All right, cool. We will see if that turns out to be the case. With the climb on the top settled for now, we're going to turn to the fight for a spot in the summer split as Elements go up against Splice. And as we go, Nisbet tells us how his team will have a close eye on Elements' man in the jungle.
Gilius is a playmaker in some way, like his Lee Sin is really good, which last time we played Elements, he pretty much solo carried that game with Lee Sin. So we have to play smart, and it's a team that we have to win if we want to get that 7th spot.